Hi everyone, so it's Nicole here, Facebook Live Part 2. Today we're going to be talking about to-do lists. So sounds like a simple topic, but there's more to it than it seems. So I am just going to be posting my agenda items up here, and bear with me again. There. So yeah, to-do lists, as I said, is the topic today. So often when we think of to-do lists, we think of like some various different types of to-do lists. For some people, it might just be writing everything out. For some people, it might be being more specific. But there is, according to science, some better and worse ways to do it. But first of all, just generally, the act of writing things down actually has been shown to reduce our mental load. So what that means is when we're walking around trying to keep all our tasks in our brain, it makes it harder to focus on other things. We kind of do worse on paying attention in the present moment. And yeah, so it's helpful to reduce our mental load and help us be more present. The other benefit of making a to-do list is it reduces anxiety. So there's been studies showing that when you can write everything out that you need to do, you feel less stressed. And so everybody knows that when you're super anxious, it's hard to get things done. So just reducing our anxiety makes it easier for us to get things done. So that's another reason to make a to-do list. So I'm just going to kind of talk about the different types here. So the first type is what some people call a brain dump. So this will hit that number one. This will get everything off your mind onto paper so that you can think of other things and not be carrying all that stuff around. So I'm going to show you my little example of a brain dump. So I don't know if it's going to be backwards for you guys, but hopefully not. So just writing everything in the world down that we have to do. So just getting it out there, getting it all out there, and so we can move on and do other things. So that will reduce our mental load. But I don't know about you, but does this reduce your anxiety? For me, like this here, midterm on here, wouldn't help me. It wouldn't help my anxiety go down enough to actually start studying necessarily. It's a big task. Which kind of brings me to the next type of to-do list. Let's see here. It's kind of a standard to-do list. The thing about it is it's kind of, getting better. We might even be like this. Like, okay, I'm going to be more specific here. I have school this week. I have a midterm Friday. I have math. I have homework, and I have reading to do. So you're kind of writing it up. And it's like, okay, it's a lot more organized. It's focused on one thing. That's good. The problem with it is looking at just something like midterm Friday. That's enough to freak a lot of us out. So I was using this metaphor with one of my clients, and I like it. It's sometimes when a task feels really big, it's stressful. And I was using the metaphor of this mountain that we have here. I'm going to see if I can swing this around and show you guys where I am. I'm in my office, one of the rooms of my office here. So see that mountain there? That is called the Squamish Chief. So people come from all over the world to rock climb that. They will scale up there. And so I'm imagining when you think of a midterm, it's like study for midterm. Your midterm's on Friday. You might as well sometimes be saying, you get to the top of the chief in 5 hours. And you're like, what? Like, for me, I've never done that. I don't know how to rock climb. And, we might get to the top of the chief in 5 hours and know that that's doable, that people do that all the time, but still feel so overwhelmed. Like, where do I start with that? Like, I can't do that. Our fight or flight mode will get set into place. Like, that's actually dangerous. And I don't know if you watched the last video, but I talk about how our fight or flight response has such an impact on our ability to focus and get things done. So yeah, because school is important, that fight or flight mode might get stuck with us. So yeah, sorry, rambling a bit here, but the main point is I can't just go to the top of the chief in 5 hours. I feel like I should have been training for 6 months. I feel like I should know how to like use ropes to keep myself safe. I would want a guide. So basically all these things can be similar in a test situation. Like, oh, I should have been reading this whole time. Maybe I don't know, like I should know all these things. I should know these things before the exam. And all we're doing is freaking out because we don't know, rather than being able to stop and think, okay, what do I need to know and how do I know it? So that brings me to the next type of list, which is hopefully awesome list. So a great list has your tasks prioritized and in order in such a way that it's almost like, think of like a flow chart. Like first I need to look at my course outline to figure out what's going to be on the test. Then I need to like make a plan for that. And then maybe we'll start another flow chart once we have the plan. I need to cover chapters 1 to 6 and I need to do these things. So I'm going to show you my little example of a better to-do list. So midterm. Here we go. So chapter 1, we're going to review our notes. Then we're going to make flashcards. Broken down to the point where it's not overwhelming. Because then it feels more manageable and also just shorter, getting ready for a midterm, you're thinking, oh my God, it's going to take me like hours and hours and hours. Even breaking it down like this, you have to be careful because we could go chapter 1 to 6. I have to review all the notes and it's like, I don't feel like doing all that right now. But if we just look at one thing at a time, okay. So I'm just going to review the notes for chapter 1 and don't look ahead. Don't think about chapter 2 to 6. Just be like, okay, all I have to do right now in this moment is look at my chapter 1 notes. And I can do that. That's going to take me 20 minutes. And then by that time, you're kind of on a roll and it's easier to keep going. So a to-do list is meant to reduce our anxiety, help us feel organized, help us with time management. And if we're doing it wrong, it can actually make us just as overwhelmed as anything else. So it's good to have realistic timing with our tasks too. Just break them down until they're manageable and not stressful. Whether maybe that even might just be like close YouTube as like task number 1, because sometimes our distractions are such a big part of why we can't get started. That's a whole other topic though. So I have a little bit of a warning about to-do lists. You'd think, what's scary? What's the big deal about to-do lists? How can it be bad? So there are a couple actual things in the research that are interesting, I think. So they find that sometimes people will make their to-do list and then they'll just procrastinate on the main task by checking off all these other things. Like, so for example, that first list where I had laundry and I had call my mom on that list, if I had a list like that, I could use all those other things to procrastinate getting schoolwork done, which is why like some people's rooms are the cleanest around exam time because we're just finding other things to do. And so that's a warning about making a to-do list. We might focus on those other tasks. Another thing, which I found interesting, was that sometimes that reduction in anxiety we get by writing out the list is enough to make us feel like we can now take a break. Like, oh, okay, I have my list. I know what I'm going to be doing. I can totally do this. And so I guess I'm going to just take a break now because that was a good job, me. I made a list. And so our anxiety is reduced. We're feeling good and we take it as a reason to take a break. So I thought that was interesting. So just watch out for those little traps. So doing things that don't really matter and also feeling just so good about making a list that you take a break. I'd love to hear from you guys again. I would love to hear if you do the to-do list thing, if any of this information was new or useful to you, or if you have any of your own tips, that'd be cool too. So this is our second Facebook Live for our Students Conquering Procrastination group. Loving the group and how much it's growing. I'm stoked on that. And drop a comment if you watch this and you have anything to share. Thanks. See you guys later.